What's up, guys? Ryan here again. Gonna do another think, learn, and be vulnerable vlog. And today I want to talk about ramen and my weird relationship and experiences with it. I decided to put on the taco shirt here. Want to talk about it? I do want to talk about it. Thank you, shirt with puns on it. Um, Ramen's always odd because it's like a quarter to buy a pack. Like you can eat 3 packs for 75 cents. It's an amazingly cost-effective food, but I don't know. It always felt kind of cheap to me. Kind of like, why am I doing that? When I was in college and ramen, we ate a lot of ramen because, like I said, it's the only thing that we could afford a lot of the time. Um, and it's just noodles. It's so weird, but it's really tasty. Noodles with a little bit of soup. It's hard to go wrong. There's a lot of other dishes that are like that. Pho, for example. I don't have any negative associations with pho, but I don't know. It's weird. The idea of paying full price for ramen is still odd for me. I still do it. There's a ramen place near the house that I just think is fantastic, but I don't know. I don't order it a lot. And I realized it's because ramen reminds me of a time in my life where everything was just going down the fucking tubes. Um, I lost my job. My brother died. I got kicked out of my house. Um, I was pretty much broke, and I was working at a bowling alley and making minimum wage and trying to live off that. And didn't tell anybody about it. Nobody knew. I just kept it to myself. And kept saying, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. Don't tell anybody. Don't let anybody in. Don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let it show. Well, now they know. Oh, man. There's a reason Frozen is like my second favorite movie of all time. Uh, I still have trouble with that. I still have trouble with letting people see when I'm not feeling good. I have no problems letting people see when I'm feeling good. I like to show off when I'm feeling good. Sounds great. But every time I think about ramen, I think about those days in that shitty apartment where I had a bed and a TV and that's it. I couldn't even cook in it. I was living off the value menu at KFC and top ramen. So I don't go to KFC anymore either. Just reminds me of a time that I don't want to think about anymore. A time where I felt like I failed as an adult. A time that constantly reminds me that no matter how good you think you have it, everything can be taken away from you. It was difficult, really difficult time. And while this pandemic is probably the second most challenging time in my life, that was definitely the first. And to say that it doesn't still affect me to this day, no, it absolutely does. Absolutely does. The pandemic reminds me again, it makes me afraid of death. It makes me afraid of being really poor. It makes me afraid of not living, just trying to survive and struggling. So believe me, I know what the struggle is like. I know what it's like to be on the bottom tier of Maslow's pyramid and feeling like there's no way to climb up, where the only thing you have to think about is shelter and survival. Shelter, food, survival. Like, that's it. That was the only thing on my mind. And every day, just like, man, payday needs to come now. It's hard. It's really hard. And yeah, so ramen was all I had. And it was weird too because I lost a lot of weight because I wasn't really eating a whole lot. And people just kept telling me, "Oh my God, you look so good. You're losing a lot of weight. Wow, good for you." I'm like, yeah, not intentionally. I'm not trying to do it. I'm just living off of 1,200 calories of ramen a day. You know, I occasionally treat myself to a $5 fill-up box at KFC. That's about it. You know, I couldn't even. I didn't even want to buy eggs to put in it because I was like, that's an unnecessary expense. It's hard. And this pandemic has done that same thing to a lot of different people. So I think the thing to think about is how safe are the things that you base your life upon? You know, how can they all be taken away? You know, and the thing to learn is how can I prepare for that just in case it does happen? You know, this is why insurance is such a big industry, fucked up industry, but an industry nonetheless. Um, how can I make sure that if these things that I build my life around are taken away, that I'm still going to be okay? You know, you need to have a safety net for your safety net. Because you never know. You never know. What if you do lose your job, lose your house, and your brother all at the same time? How do you recover from that? Hopefully, you have other family to rely upon. And I'm lucky that I did. And I still do. Lord knows I never would have gotten through it without them. But I think the vulnerable thing here, too, is sometimes you're going to have to eat ramen. And sometimes it's metaphorical ramen. Sometimes it's spiritual ramen. Sometimes it's emotional ramen. But sometimes your life, you're not going to have it all together. You're going to lose things that you relied upon. And you're going to have to figure out how to cope. But the one thing you can always rely upon is yourself. And self-reliance and being able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, that's awesome. And you should definitely try to do that. But also realize that there are people around you that care about you too. And you may have to eat ramen for a while, but you're not ramen guy. You're not guy who always eats ramen. You know, you can eventually get to that point to where you're eating ramen with eggs, or you're not eating ramen at all because you choose not to because you can afford to not do that. But realize that there's a lot of people out there that are struggling and are feeling that way, especially now. You know, unemployment is at the highest it's ever been. The GDP is down 33%. It's the highest loss ever in recorded US history. A lot of people hurting right now. A lot of people eating ramen right now. Eat it until you get better. Survive. Don't give up. Keep working. Keep fighting. You will get there eventually. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I'll see you later.